up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's badminton teams ended the World University Games in Germany on a high, grabbing 2 golds, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze on Saturday. Men's single star Ding Yanchen beat France's Inogat Roy to secure Taiwan's 5th gold of the Games. Taiwan swept the mixed doubles category, winning gold, silver, and bronze medals, with Yang Zhuyun and Wu Xuanyi taking the top spot. While in women's doubles, Zheng Yujie and Song Youxuan settled for silver after a 3-set face-off with China's Li Qian and Wang Yiduo. Japan says part of a $550 billion deal with Washington could fund Taiwanese chip makers building plants in the United States. Tokyo's chief trade negotiator says firms that use Japanese parts or sell to Japanese customers will qualify. No specific companies were named, but TSMC is currently building a $165 billion complex in the U.S. state of Arizona. The investment package was announced alongside a trade deal between Tokyo and Washington that cuts U.S. tariffs on Japanese goods from 25% to 15%. Taiwanese policymakers have been in Washington this week trying to negotiate a trade deal with the U.S. But while those talks play out, industries here are bracing for possible new U.S. tariffs on their chips. Isabel Wong reports on how Taiwan is responding to the U.S.'s push to move more chip making stateside.
Are we ready? Are we ready?
Surrounded by cheering Republican lawmakers, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed his One Big Beautiful Bill Act into law. This is part of his carrot and stick approach to give a 35% tax credit on chip-fed projects started in the U.S. before 2026, while threatening to impose tariffs on chip imports very soon. How worried should Taiwan's chip makers be about this? Tech analysts say the impact may be limited, especially when it comes to cutting-edge chips.
我们熟悉的10奈米以下的这个先进晶片啊，坦白讲是一点影响都没有。那个买方要卖账啊，你川普不管定多少的进口晶片的关税，高也好低也好，都不会台积电去外加的，不是台积电的成本负担，而是买家。
Aside from geopolitical tensions and national interests, are there more stories to tell about Taiwan's chip dominance? A Chip Odyssey is the first feature-length documentary about the history of Taiwan's semiconductor industry. It aims to bring people back to the 1970s and spotlight the unsung heroes who built the country's most critical industry.
我其实一直希望这个纪录片里面看到的还是人，看到的还是一个台湾的故事，看到的是这群人用了这样的一种技术跟努力，他怎么去创造了这个奇迹？我用我的旁白，用我采访这些人，收集这些故事的这种情怀吧，我被他们打动，然后我也要把这个部分给观众。
Taiwan has been on the headlines for years, but mostly just number and talking about the factory. There are people story behind it. So every technology success, there's a people very deeply human stories. And behind this human story, there's a conviction. Hopefully can humanize Taiwan as a keyword, not just become just a buzzword.
Since its release in mid-June, A Chip Odyssey has not only accumulated over $630,000 at the box office, it has also struck a chord with Taiwanese audiences.
今天我深深的引以为傲，就是我们台湾拥有台积电，它也陆续的在世界各地陆续的投资。那我觉得这真的是我们的护国神山。
现在台湾的半导体能够进入亚洲发达，我想是因为当初的那一群那个年轻的工程师，他们能够为台湾做点事。
While some say they felt pride, others were moved to reflect on the past and the road ahead.
我整个影片结束的时候，其实我心非常的沉重了。我那时候我第一句话就告诉我说，那台湾接下来呢？ 接下来怎么走呢？那怎么样去突破现在的困境？那目前现在面临不管是美国的关税的问题，或者是说还有人才断炊的问题，还有现在教育的问题。
我很记得赵三的讲过最后一句话，就是因为主要是我们现在台湾的不管是科技啊、经济或者是政治地位，都会有点压缩。那一句话就是要只许成功，不许失败，那才是我们对于我们自己就是最骄傲，但是也最该努力的一个地方。
A Chip Odyssey will begin to screen in overseas theaters starting this fall. By doing so, it aims to show a global audience that Taiwan's semiconductor journey is far more than a tech story. Instead, it's a result of sacrifice, belief, and relentless effort from a generation of engineers that built the nation's silicon shield. Alex Chen and Isabel Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Washington has agreed to allow Nvidia's previously restricted H20 AI chip to return to the lucrative Chinese market. But how will this impact Taiwanese chipmakers and the global market? Reporter Chris Gorin spoke to Marco Mesger of Neumunda Technology Group to find out more.
Nvidia says that the U.S. government has changed course and will now allow them to sell their H20 AI chip in China, more or less reversing a previous ban on those chips being exported to China. Were you surprised to hear about this reversal?
Yeah, it was an interesting move, and I think, of course, initiated by Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia. Yes, I was surprised, but actually not too much. But in reality, if you look at the practicality of this solution, it makes, from my point of view, really sense to open this up, not only for Nvidia, but for AMD also, and for other Western companies, because the market is extremely big. And Jensen Huang is not a politician or a party member. He's a businessman. He has stakeholders, he has shareholders, and he needs to have a story that he is continue to thrive.
Yeah, and let's just remind the audience, what exactly is the H20 chip and why is it so important to US-China AI competition?
Okay, the H20 is kind of a restricted chip version of the newest Nvidia chips. So this means they have not so much bandwidth, not so much teraflops power. And in this regards, they are not like the full high-end chips, what you see, which go to Meta, Google, Facebook, or to other companies in the Western world. They are similar to some of the China competitors. And I give you an idea about the market, what is expected in China. I think Jensen Huang just recently mentioned this also. He expects the market to be for chips, AI chips in China in 2026, around about $50 billion. And I think for them, it's also like an opportunity with their software system to have good control of the whole supply chain and keep the opportunities in China alive. And by the way, it's not only Nvidia, also AMD is a beneficiary of this new regulation, which just came out recently.
And how might this affect Taiwan's semiconductor industry? The H20 and maybe some of these AMD chips are made by TSMC, right?
Yes. I think TSMC is the largest supplier of Nvidia for this chip. And, you know, the whole ecosystem in Taiwan is thriving because of this, right? So TSMC revenue continuously go up. They are a big beneficiary. But in reality, if you look from a perspective of revenue growth and dynamics, there is another interesting segment in Taiwan, which is growing very strong. So these are the companies like Vivin, Wistron, Compal, ASRock. So these are companies who are building these whole systems together for global data centers. Yeah? So I think for Taiwan, of course, it's from a pure commercial point of view, it's a good aspect because there's more revenue, more foundry services needed in order to serve more global markets for AI.
That was Marco Mesger of Neumunda Technology Group. And thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, take a look at the annual Anime and Comics Festival in Hong Kong, where thousands of cosplayers and fans are gathering. This is Liao. Take care and see you next time.